Hi, everyone. TGIF, as Ziggy would say, trade great or trade good and face. Hi, Brock. How you doing? Anyone see a black screen this morning? Glad it's Friday, buddy. I'm toast by Friday. I have a laptop and I want it painted black. You know that one still? You're too young.
No, I don't. Morning.
Rolling Stones, man, painted black. Oh
Oh
gosh, I
yeah.
don't know. I guess so old.
I've seen them live, by the way, 2004. They were good.
He still moves around, that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm a Rolling Stone, and I'm going to roll into, have caught a few fading some strength and stock indexes this week. I figured I'd try it one more time on Friday. This close is pretty important, so we'll see what happens. To have a 2-week reversal, you need 82.48 on a Friday in NASDAQ. Could happen. I mean, it could blast off too. So one thing I have noticed is, in the S&Ps, that the rallies don't have the same type of, zip. So I'm thinking this could be a false breakout out of a descending triangle. So far we've taken out this high. It's kind of an unchanged close on the week. I don't think its candles are so small. Yeah, it looks like about unchanged. I don't know, Steve, what kind of candlestick is this weekly going to be on S&Ps if we close here? A spinning top?
Can you zoom in, please?
I've never zoomed. Oh, we're in Zoom.
Use your mouse roller.
Oh, roller.
Yep, there you go.
All right.
Okay, move it more to the left.
Oh God, I knew this would be an abortion.
Okay, let me check on my chart and I'll tell you. Wait.
All right, someone take over anyway. All right.
It's a spinning top so far. Yes.
A spinning top.
Okay. Yeah, so far it's a spinning top. Yes, exactly.
And we're very close to Hanukkah. And the dreidel is a top. And I know you don't know what a dreidel is, Steve, but when I move there, we'll play. Okay, you'll like it because you can win gelt. Do you know what gelt is?
You're all words, but no action.
Gelt is money. So you could win money spinning the dreidel. Anyway,
Geld in German is indeed the money. I mean, it's word for money.
See, so a lot of Yiddish is very close to German. Anyway, let's see. Have a decent week, man?
So far so good.
Yeah, it's crude finally got to this 61.8 level. I can't get my charts back. Anyway,
just left click on the chart and drag it.
That's what I'm doing, but it keeps drawing lines.
Okay, here. Right click until you deselect the drawing line tool. Just right click.
I did that. All right.
Right click on the chart. Yeah, right click.
Okay, here we are.
There you go.
All right. So anyway, look, we got to right exactly, Steve, the 61.8 level. But I mean, it's a pretty good looking weekly candle. So
yeah, it is an outside hammer.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're going to fade it, I guess you could try it up here. I know Shy Girl said that December is seasonally weak because all the refiners don't want to get stuck with inventory because they'll be taxed on it, so they blow everything out. And we're almost in December. So anyway, maybe it's something to keep an eye on for next week. There's too much mo for.
She's very experienced in trading crude, and truth being, the vast majority of commodities do have seasonality factors affecting them. So if she says that's the case, I believe it.
So she was looking for this trend line, this one. And so both the triangle, the descending triangle line and this up channel looks like they intersect right here, right around 59.90. So we'll see. You know, they say never go home short crude on a weekend.
Oh, that's true, because any surprise usually is one that creates a gap higher.
Yeah. Okay, so dollar, you know, I'm still conflicted on the dollar. You know, I could see, and then I'll hand it over to Blake. Maybe there's some news he wants to trade. Let's see, 98.04. You see this, Steve? I was thinking yesterday, the way it held, that maybe we could get, you know, A, B, C, and test some higher fibs. And actually the 78.6 is all the way up here. And if it has a quality to that, that could be where we're going.
Might be the case. We're still trapped in
Yeah.
in an ascending.
It's just taken a long time for this wedge breakdown to get going. It's almost like someone showed a chart that we've already had some kind of back test. Maybe they had a different channel, but we haven't had a back test of it. And you know,
having said that, my my bias is still short. So
would you sell it up here?
I would definitely.
I know you don't think it's going up there, but would you?
I would definitely sell it at 99. Yeah. At
okay.
99, I would sell it.
I think you might have a chance.
Yeah.
All right. So, and you know, everyone's waiting for the end to break down. I know it's probably going to do it when we're sleeping, one way or the other. I wouldn't mind if it did it now, so that indexes could fall too. And looking at yields, maybe what's going to happen here is what I thought could happen. Maybe we bottomed yesterday and we get one more push up in yields, but this was a pretty negative week. Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to fail from here, get one more pop towards 220. Coin toss to me. And it's all going to be about, you know, this. So we'll see what the spinning top does if we stick here. And it's about all I have to say about the markets, but I do have something to say about this. Where have you seen in one place, especially specializing in FX, all of this? Any new subscribers this week? Give me a why. Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. It's a good idea. It's a good investment. If you're not going to invest in your trading career, Mr. Market will, you know, take your donations. He tries to steal your money all the time, doesn't he? Blake, you've gotten pretty good at not letting the market steal more than you make.
Yes, I mean that's how I make a living.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. You're making a living doing it. So
yeah. So I guess I would say, you know, you're it's funny you're talking to me and I'm like right now I'm like very tired. I got up at 1.
Oh, that's right, for the speech.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
What's that?
Was it worth being up for it?
No, okay. It wasn't. It wasn't
now I get your mood. Now I understand.
And I'm half asleep right now.
Yeah.
And I'm literally half asleep and I'm just tired, you know, like.
Hey, you know, hey, Steve, Stel, should we give Blake the rest of the day off? What do you think?
Oh, I'm going to sleep. Don't like I tried to lay down. I couldn't lay down. Like from 2 o'clock to like basically 3:30. I just laid there and, you know, cause stupid me, I got up and I had half a cup of coffee and, you know.
So tell us the nothing that she talked about.
Before she just sound like the same,
groggy.
Yeah, and she's like, Europe needs new policy mix. What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, generalities. Yeah,
Yeah, like nothing specific, and so
double speak. Yeah,
pretty much, and so um, you know, I mean, nothing happened. I mean,
yeah.
it's really, it's very it. It was it was a non-event, but the euro is actually a little bit lower due to like some of the PMIs that came out, and the cables, a little lower probably due to some of the
Yeah.
PMIs coming out. But other than that, it's been really quiet, and it's horrible because well, at least, excuse me, I was hoping for some volatility today, and we didn't get any. So it's here we go into
Look at two
the end of the
weekly
week.
candles. It's unbelievable. The range in 2 weeks has been 110 pips in a 2 week range.
Oh, for the euro?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Look
mean,
at it. It's unbelievable.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
It's
It
just
doesn't look
really
good either. I mean, I kept wanting to give it the benefit of the doubt, but it feels like it's taking too long, and the bounce off this 110 level is so far crappy.
Well, everything's okay. So let's talk about that for a moment, since there's not a whole lot to talk about other than the cable's coming down, but I'll talk about that here in a moment too. One of the other things that we have, which is obviously affecting the market greatly, is just the grind up and now stall of equities. So equities have two
Okay.
directions: they go up or they consolidate, and so they don't go down. Not right now. And so for the dollar to gain any type of direction is going to be very difficult. You could debate, is the dollar going to go up if stocks go down? Is the dollar going to go down? Or, I have my own views. I believe that the US dollar is actually going to go down. The euro will squeeze higher as a funding currency. It's going to go higher on risk aversion, at least initially. So, but we haven't seen any risk aversion.
Yeah.
The stock market is too overbought to really affect the market, the currency market at this point. So the currency market's stalled out. It's not ready to roll over yet. So
It's
no
the
one
whole
wants.
linchpin. It used to be the currencies were the linchpin. Now it's, I guess, the stock market.
Yeah, that you could look at it that way. Is the stock market's probably the linchpin in this equation at this moment. If we're only going up or sideways, we have nothing to do. Now, there was a article I read yesterday, and remember, I got up at like 1:15 this morning, and I went to bed at basically like 10 o'clock. So I'm more running. I tried to go to bed early, and it was tough. I just toss and turn. So I'm running on very few brain cells at this moment, so you have to bear with me. But there was this article that came out yesterday about the euro, or the FX volatility is at levels that we haven't seen since pre-Bretton Woods agreement.
Oh, wow.
So that I have to go back to the old conversation that we've had several times over the last year. If you can survive in this market, you have to look at that as a positive, because when volatility comes around, you want to be there for it. You have to be there for it. You have to be able to take advantage of the volatility when it comes. And it's going to explode. I mean, the dollar is going to move. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. I have my suspicions on where I think it's going to go, but that doesn't mean I'm right. And frankly, I don't care. I just want it to go somewhere. I want the dollar to start moving. And we haven't had it. But this is where you have to be really prudent about being careful about the positions you take, very targeted entries, and take some profits when you see them. And that would be my my best. I think that would be my best idea for you, is just make sure that you guys are just being very careful about what you're doing. the position that I'm in, that I'm currently trading right now, is the US dollar Japanese yen. And, we have it on a weekly candle. So you can see we're going to have an inside week. I doubt we're going to break into new lows this week, as much as I'd love to believe that we're going to move 30 pips lower and start moving lower. It's like, why is it going to happen today on a Friday? Chances are it's not going to. So we're probably going to have an inside week. However, I have to, also reiterate that the market has been, the dollar yen has not been going up as equities have been going higher. And that's something that might weigh on the market moving forward. There's been, a lot of headlines for and against, or positive and negative regarding the trade war. And it's just kept the US dollar Japanese yen in a very tight trading range. But notice that we have this triangle formation. We're coming out of an ascending wedge. And so a break lower, especially below this 50-day moving average, it comes in around, like I said, 108.20. That would be my cue that the dollar yen's really starting to move lower.
Raghi is with you, Blake. She likes the dollar still. And then the next strongest currency to her that she just added is the yen, which is, paired the other way. So probably looking for lower yen. She doesn't want to sell it against.
You mean lower dollar yen or lower? Yeah.
The way it's put together in futures.
Yeah, stronger yen would mean a lower dollar yen.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, correct. And I didn't listen to her interview yesterday. I was busy, dealing with the markets. But oh, by the way, Donald Trump is on Fox and Friends. He says he predicts Pelosi won't do USMCA. Well, that's not good for the Canadian dollar. If that's really the case, the dollar Canadian should be going higher. But he's just speculating too.
Yeah, but will she do YMCA? That's the question.
YMCA? She might. She possibly could. Thanks, Delios, for throwing that in. And
Good morning.
Bringing a little.
I live at the Y.
You live at the Y. That's awesome. You're probably one of those dudes that do water aerobics. You probably do water aerobics at the Y.
I am so sore.
Hey, look, if
it's easier on your joints.
It is. Yeah. Check out all the hotties in the pool.
Oh yeah.
Water aerobics.
Our class is called Cocoon.
Cocoon. That was a great movie.
It was indeed a
movie
great
buff. I was gonna say, you guys are, I know Stelios is a movie buff. He probably remembers that one. Steve even remembers that movie. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I do.
Yeah. Good one.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, mate.
So we have absolutely nothing happening in the markets, and I'm trying to tap dance and find my way into some conversations here. So let's talk Cocoon. Just kidding. So I was just discussing the dollar yen, and I think the dollar yen. One of the other things that we got to pay attention to regarding the dollar yen is we got to pay attention to yields, in the bond market. So I'm bullish the 10-year right now. False breakdown. We have an inverted head and shoulder pattern. We hit the neckline yesterday. We came back and retested it. It's starting to bounce again today. Yields are going down. So this is, to me, very bearish dollar yen. As long as bonds, the 10-year can continue to go higher. This is actually the one thing that would worry me about the dollar yen is if we saw the 10-year doing this again, and then I would just kind of throw in the towel and say I don't even know what the technical formations the 10-year is following. But at this point, it's false breakdown, reversal, inverted head and shoulder pattern, retest the neckline, and we should be going higher now. So that means that if we're going higher in the 10-year, bond yields are moving lower. And as I tweeted out a few days ago, I think the dollar yen's following yields more so than it is stocks, because if it was following stocks, stock market up, dollar yen would be a lot higher than it is. So I think the dollar yen is more in tune with what is happening. Sorry, guys. In the 10-year bond market, I am yawning because I've literally had like 2.5 hours of sleep last night. So that's what I'm thinking there. Stelios,
Sir,
hey, can you tell us a little bit about Brexit?
no.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so
Um,
we were discussing the pounds a little weaker this morning, and UK PMIs came in a little weak. Same with some of the Eurozone PMIs. If you look at, let's go over here to our calendar, and you can see some of the PMIs that have come out overnight. You had the services PMI for the UK come in weak. Manufacturing PMIs come in weaker than expected. Eurozone, the German numbers came in a little bit better, but overall, the rest of the Eurozone numbers continue to look weak. So that that took a little bit of air out of the cable, as the cable has been failing on its attempts to 130. But I still see this bull flag pattern, and if you look at the daily chart, it's actually still relevant. I do think that the market was probably a little long going into this week, hoping for that upside breakout, because I think that we were all looking at it like this, but in essence, it actually might just be an actual flag pattern instead of a pennant, which means that we might sell off back to 128. But as I mentioned in the chat room a couple hours ago, if we dip to 128, I'd be a buyer. I'd actually actually buy the cable down there if we got there.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get there today, but you have any other flavor on the pound?
Yeah, basically, I mean, PMIs were weak. They're the weakest they've been since 2016, since before the referendum, from what I remember. Services dipped below 50. So both in contraction, they are not to be dismissed, these numbers. Okay, they are weak. But I think you very correctly said in the chat room that at the moment, what's driving the pound is Brexit and the elections, first of all, and then what's going to happen with that. So yes, short term, they will have an effect, but I think I agree with you. I think we're in this bull flag, which if we get a positive result, will certainly get broken to the upside. So yeah.
So we were chatting with Amanda a little bit in our chat room, and she lives obviously in the UK, about like, stores are closing. It's Brexit's really starting to have effect on the local economy, and I could imagine that as well. But like any economy that goes into a uncertainty, whenever you lift the uncertainty, whatever it is, that's where the pent up demand comes from. And I've seen it time and time again in my career in the markets, and watching the different economies go through, not Brexit necessarily, but similar type of uncertain situations. Let's say you're a consumer, and I always use this example. Let's say you're a consumer and you're like, oh, I have this dishwasher, and this dishwasher, it's horrible. It's on its last legs. Typically, I go out and buy a new dishwasher because I need to replace it before it goes out. But because of Brexit, I might say, you know what, I want to see what happens. I want to see what, and then once Brexit, no Brexit, deal, no deal. Once it all happens, once all the good or the bad gets out of the way. Let's say there's a no deal Brexit, and the initial shock of, oh my God, there's a no deal Brexit happens. Or, we have a deal Brexit, and, everything, is over the next, year or two, but we know which way we're going. That pent up demand, or that, the pent up demand of consumerism, it tends to pick up again. And so does business investment as well. People looking to invest in the UK have probably stood aside quite substantially over the last few years. And people are looking at the UK saying, man, I really want to put my money there, but I do want to see what happens with Brexit first. And if there's a devaluation of the cable, the pound, like let's say it drops down to 120 or 115, or maybe even closer to par to the euro, people will find that attractive, after the initial shock lower. If a deal Brexit happens and the pound actually goes higher, people will say, "Hey, look, I know what's ahead, and I'm willing to step in right now." So I look at once we get past Brexit, the storm clouds really clear up whatever storm clouds they were, whether it was a thunderstorm or whether it was just, passing drizzle. So, using some analogies. So, for me, I look at the cable, and if you really are in the camp that there is going to be a no deal Brexit, and that's going to happen, then you want to buy it on dips. I think you want to buy it at 128 if you really feel that, or there's going to be a deal Brexit. Excuse me. If you feel there's going to be a no deal Brexit and things are going to fall apart at the seams, then yeah, you want to stay away, or maybe even look at it as a possible short. But like I said, once you get past the uncertainty part of everything that we're dealing with, that's when you're going to be able to buy it. And so, I like I said, I think it depends what camp you're in. Technically, I think that the cable below 128 is a good buy, unless we find out, that differently, that maybe a no deal Brexit is more likely than not. And then obviously you got to stop buying the dips on the cable. So anyway,
Blake, for me to turn bearish the pound for a more long-term view, the only scenario that's going to make that happen is if Labour win the elections and if Corbyn goes in power. I think that for me will be very negative. But from what I've been reading again today, he's moving further and further away. So that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, and so that's a good way to look at it. And unless that happens, then you have to drop your bullish bias. And there's a lot of unknowns, obviously, but that's the biggest one currently that we all are sitting with. And that's why I'm in agreement with you, and that's why I'll probably be a buyer if we dip down to 128 early next week in the cable. But we'll see if it happens. I don't even know if it's going to happen. It's just I'm not touching it at current levels. We are mid-range. So with that being said, I know we have Canadian retail sales coming out here in a few minutes, so I'm going to turn it over to you and Steve. But I wanted to say, hey, everybody, thank you very much for being a part of the Forex Analytics community. Remember, if you haven't tried out Forex Analytics, do so. It's only $1 for 10 days, and even if you're trying out in anticipation of getting the light version of Forex Analytics and going the $19 a month route, well, at least try it out, because this way you get the full version for the next 10 days. So make sure you give our platform and our community a shot. And then also make sure you visit Forest Park FX. They are our webinar sponsor, and I think Raggy Horner said some good things about Forest Park yesterday, right?
Yeah, she said that Jason is their consigliere. He's an attorney, right?
Yes.
Justin, you mean?
Justin.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Justin. Oh, yeah, Trent. But Justin. Yeah, Justin is the consigliere.
Yeah, he's a securities attorney by trade, and
they do a lot of things, I think, cooperatively. But she said that she would never hesitate to send someone there.
Right. That's
same with us. We've been working with them for a long time, and they're excellent.
They really are. So, guys, have a great one. Have a great Friday, TGIF, and have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys on the week ahead video, in a few days.
Have a great
weekend, Blake, and get some rest.
Thanks, guys. I'm gonna go get some sleep soon.
Okay, buddy.
You should. Bye-bye.
Okay, so my quick comment on Lagarde. She, on her first speech, basically, she did say that the Eurozone economy is expected to grow at 1.1% this year, which is lower than previously forecasts. And the trend is that they're lowering projections as well. She did say a lot of non-specific stuff. Europe needs to invest and innovate, and climate change and blah blah. And so I think she's going to make a really good central bank chief.
Indeed.
She did urge governments to boost public investment as well.
Of course, because we all know that long-term growth is achieved only through debt.
Yes, but she said that it's going to help the ECB's job and the loose monetary policy take effect better if the governments cooperate. Okay.
So bottom line, to summarize in two sentences, she said, we are extremely monetary responsible. Please, governments, we
Yes.
need you to be also fiscally irresponsible, so we can have a wonderful combination of irresponsibility that's, going to give us some prosperity for a few years. Now about the generation of your kids, don't worry about them. They'll probably fight some kind of a world war, but you don't need to care about that today.
By the way, core retail sales came in 0.1 better than expected. Headline retail sales as expected in Canada, so nothing there. We do have some PMIs out of US.
The USD CAD has been moving lower today, though, after getting rejected yesterday. Again, as I was saying, 133.50 is very key for the USD CAD if we want to be talking about the potential of upside. And we didn't even reach that, actually. So far, we're pulling back. So, still USD CAD, I think not easy to read at the moment. I mean, if you see, we have spent like quite a lot of time oscillating in roughly, you can call it a range. It's not exactly a range, but it's almost a range. So not easy to read this price action. But yesterday was an inside spinning top. Today we're seeing some nice follow through to the downside. Now, for people that are looking to buy it, I think 131.90, 132 might be a decent level if you want to try the upside. Coach, I hope you're not catching a cold or something.
I heard it too.
I'm all right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything else, Stelio?
No, but did you see that new Tesla truck? My God, it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
In all honesty, in all honesty, I mean, if I was in charge of any kind of company and a designer came in and showed me this, I would have thrown him out of the window. I wouldn't have fired him.
Somebody said it really well on Twitter today. They said, finally, Elon Musk gets to produce the car he designed himself when he was 5 years old. And that's
I've never seen an uglier thing in my life, ever.
Yeah.
You're not buying one? Huh? It looks militarized.
Well, the glass is definitely not
we found out that the glass is definitely not resilient. Yes.
Why? What happened? Did they?
Oh, did you see that?
They threw us a big rock or whatever.
They were like, this is being built by the best, like whatever, stainless steel or whatever. So we're going to show you. So they take a bat, they hit on it, and indeed, there was no dent or whatever. Impressive. So then they're like, now check at the window. So there's a guy, he picks up a rock, he throws it on the first window, cracks.
Oh, they didn't think it was going to crack.
Then they're going they start having some awkward humor, like perhaps you threw it too hard. Let's try to the next one. He throws it to the second one with less force, cracks as well.
Oh my God! How embarrassing!
No, to be honest, it's okay. I mean, what I found the most amazing part is that they noticed later in photographs that actually the back left wheel of the car had started, in essence, the word is not falling off, but it had already started getting a very weird outwards angle. So something was wrong with the back left wheel, which I consider
the suspension or something. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, or probably the axis that is holding it or whatever. Yeah. So I found that a lot more. I would have found that a lot more annoying than not having the bulletproof or whatever.
Well, I think Tesla was up sharply in the aftermarket yesterday in anticipation of this. Probably was a great short.
Yeah, and it's down sharply today. It's down sharply in pre-market now.
What, like $20 or so? Because it was up 12.
15.
Yeah, so it gave back everything. So basically, the market's saying, I guess it's not too great anyway.
Yeah, but by the way, here is Tesla. It has once again squeezed very hard short positions. You can see it here. It's approaching, but as Stelio said, it's going to gap lower today. But in any case, we know very well that this horizontal resistance area, roughly at at 380, 385, is a major resistance area. I remember us having this conversation with Stelios. You remember Stelios having the conversation about Tesla in Cyprus when we were for the expo. I really believe that this Tesla story is not going to end well. I mean, it's a company that is burning money. It hasn't really made like huge breakthroughs. The designs are not that well. The quality is not that good. And you know, in my opinion, the Tesla experiment would have worked beautifully if they were faster in delivering, higher quality
production.
products.
Yeah.
But now they've given the time to like behemoth car producers like the Volkswagen Group, the Toyota Group, etc., to really catch up with them. So I don't see this, ending very nicely. And I do believe that the stock is seriously overvalued. And I do think that Tesla is going to be one of the best shorts once the market starts cracking. Because as you know very well, Coach, once the market starts crashing, whenever that is, but it's not that. It's not.
Oh, I know when it's going to start crashing. When Elon takes one of his spaceships and relocates to Mars.
So it's not going to be that much.
He'll bring the truck with the
further
broken windows
into the future. But and you know very well that once we start having financial crisis type of events, what is the first thing that dries up? Credit, and especially credit to companies that can't actually
buy back their stock,
make a profit, right? Because Tesla can't really make a profit. I mean, it's still burning money. I know that last quarter, like they cooked up the books as much as possible, and they showed like a slightly positive thing, but in essence, it remains a company that is burning up money like it's nobody's business. So I think they're running on limited time, and I don't know what's going to happen with Tesla. It has definitely contributing greatly into bringing electric cars in the forefront, which is definitely a good thing, right? So, but on the other hand, I do think that there is a high probability scenario that at some point is going to be deeply in trouble, and it will have to be absorbed by one of the other companies. But I don't see them making it on their own. Not at least through the next recession, whenever that is, which isn't going to be that far away.
Okay, I'm buying some puts.
Against 385, it's quite a good position to be in. Actually,
they'll probably squeeze the last short out above that range and have a false break.
Can be. We've seen the market being devious.
Part of this is a huge short squeeze. I mean, there are so many people bearish. One of the fast money guys is getting blown away. Tim, I forgot his last name.
Let's not mention, since you mentioned it, just to show the madness of this market. The same thing was happening here with the short squeeze in the bin, the Beyond Meat. Look at this chart.
Yeah.
Just look at this chart, right? It's
Beyond Meat.
Beyond. It should be called actually Beyond Bubble, because they opened like at 45, they shot up to 240, and like within several weeks we're down at 75. This is not normal market movement. I mean, a company cannot be valued May at 45, then July at 240, and then November at 75, and nothing in between has really happened that has fundamentally changed how the company operates or whatever. It's not like, between all this madness going up and down, we had like some, great, fundamental changes or tectonic shifts in, the company's business model or whatever. So this is one more example, along with, of course, the most famous of all recent examples, which show how bubbles can create huge misallocations of investments, what in Austrian economics is called malinvestments.
Yeah.
Is the situation with WeWork, a company
yeah.
that they almost managed to IPO for 47 billion, and it's in the brink of bankruptcy. Just think about that. I mean, it must have been one of the biggest, like almost Wall Street scams of all time. I mean, if they actually
And Jamie Dimon was in on that one.
Yeah, if they had actually pushed forward a little bit earlier with that
They would have
IPO,
gotten the money. Yeah.
they would have gotten the money with a valuation of 47 billion for a
It'd be
company.
zero.
Yeah, for a company that is, best case scenario, if they manage to salvage it, gonna cost like, I don't know, 1/6 of that, 1/8 of that, something like that, if they manage to salvage this disaster.
Yeah. Tulip mania.
But yeah, absolutely. All those are signs, are symptoms of the same disease, right? All of them, and more examples as well. How is the other company called? That Smile. How was it called?
I'm looking forward to our IPO.
I don't think it's this one. No, it's this one. One for widening teeth or whatever. It was. It was another disaster. Yeah, whatever. I mean, we've seen some nutty IPOs, really. I mean, which shows that money are just stupidly being poured, all over the place, chasing whatever they can get. Richard says Tesla will go the DeLorean way, though with cars not as good looking as DeLorean. If someone in the Far East takes the DeLorean aesthetics and combines it with electrical motor, they can become a world beater for the new century. Yeah, I also believe that one way or another, Tesla will have to be bought off, merged, or whatever with some other. Smile Direct Club. Yes, thank you. Now, what is the? Yeah, there it is.
Do you know how you're driving a DeLorean?
Look at this, coach.
Yeah. Okay. Smile Direct Club.
Just look at
this. Smiling. Yeah.
Just look at this stock.
Bag holders.
It actually opened at 16. There were people. Sorry,
paid 20.
My mistake. It actually opened at 20.50. There were people that were buying it at 21, thinking, it's going to be one of those IPOs that, I just got in the IPO, I'm going to make my money here, and opened there and look at where it's trading, single digits already. I mean, another example of, it's just the
bag holders.
Bag holders, yeah. And as it seems, the first sign of the bubble bursting has already burst. What is that first sign? As you see, the IPO market for stupid business models that have absolutely no proof that can ever produce a profit is already starting to dry out. I think that's the first signal.
That's a very valid point. Yeah. Okay. And I just wanted to let Richard know, do you know how you're in a DeLorean? If you ever drove one, Richard? Have you ever driven one? I've driven one.
You know that there is a guy.
You did? Okay. Was it like mine? It followed the white lines on the highway.
You know that there is a guy that actually bought the DeLorean factory with all parts and everything. I mean, they had already produced like enough parts to make another 1,000 cars. And he was looking to, in essence, revamp the design to make it a little bit more modern and revive the DeLorean brand. But I really have no...
They were cool, man. They are cool. They're still out.
But I really have no idea if they succeeded in that. I know that they did attempt it like a few years ago. Let's see if there's any information here. The market is obviously very quiet, so we can BS around with things like that. Aftermath, although he does strokes. 2005, producing vehicles, concept. Today, a large number of original cars are still in the road. No, there's no mention of that, but I had seen a documentary actually about that. Somebody bought it off, but obviously not finding information means that whatever endeavor he was hoping to, to go through probably failed. Yeah, so whatever. So let's go to the markets. We don't have many things that have been moving. Yes, the pound is one of them. Blake already covered it. I'm still in the camp that this type of a move is a corrective move, so I'm still expecting a break higher from 130 for higher prices. So that's a given. We already talked about the USD CAD having to do with the metals. And I'm going to go to some exotic markets as well today because we have the time and we haven't done it. Gold still consolidating here, silver still consolidating, but keep in mind that this looks eerily like a bear flag. So I did initially draw that some time ago, expecting a bounce higher from exactly this level, and we have got this bounce, but we're now testing an area of resistance, and the type of price action that we've had to the upside, I have to tell you that would definitely keep me away from being long at the moment. So I have to say that I find it likely that silver is going to produce a lower low from here. So I'm carefully watching this flag. I remain bullish in the medium to long term, but the short term price action isn't in any way making me contemplate of taking a position right here, right now. Now, palladium, it has seen like a couple of days of sharp move lower. It has been recovering. I think that it's a counter trend trade. There is no question about it. But shorting here against the highs for one more leg lower is probably a very decent proposition. I do think that palladium can end up correcting even further before producing another bullish leg, because don't forget that this is a market that undeniably has been in a bull trend since the very beginning of January 16. By the way, another example of a market that is finding a significant high or low at the very beginning or at the very end of a year. Okay, January 2016, it turned higher after a big bearish long-term move and never looked back since, in essence. Now, having to do with some exotic markets, I'm going to go fast through them, but they look quite interesting. And I'm talking, oops, wrong place. I'm talking about the Nifty and the Bank Nifty for those that like Indian stocks. I mean, this looks like a potential breakout of this wedge and a potential double top, you can see here. And in combination with what Bank Nifty is doing, which is it has accelerated within this steep channel and it's attempting to break lower just before reaching that previous area of resistance, doesn't look like a bad idea to the short side. Now, one more from the exotic Shanghai Composite Index. Still, there is still a likelihood of an inverted head and shoulders formation here, although inverted head and shoulders formation or head and shoulders formations, are better indicators when they're found at the big, at the end of a move, bearish or bullish. But they can work as continuation formations as well. But we need to turn higher from here, because if that doesn't happen, we're going to soon start losing symmetry in this potential inverted head and shoulders formation. Now, the DAX has stalled, but so far this move looks 100% corrective in move. And admittedly, somebody can say the same about the S&P and even the Nasdaq. I mean, we had an attempt to move lower, and it might as well happen because we're on a resistance. But I have to tell you that I would have liked to see a faster reaction lower after the initial sell-off. So you know, we are definitely still in an uptrend, and we definitely still have the potential of moving higher. Same here with the IWM, which also conveniently stopped at a very key resistance area we've talked about multiple times at 160, but it hasn't really gotten rejected from there. It has just stalled and is consolidating. I think this is going to be quite a nice trade. Break above that high is probably going to squeeze a lot of people that might be short this market, because I'm pretty sure there are several stop losses above there. I mean, this is a range that we've respected for like a year or whatever. So from a technical perspective, that's definitely going to prove to be a significant development. Now, having to do with currency pairs, one more that I wanted to show, because it is still testing critical area, is the USD SEK. As you see, the USD SEK is back again on this trend line support from this ascending wedge. So, end of day, end of week, let's see if we can hold to begin with. But I do think that it is an interesting proposition, the downside, and it might actually act as a leading indicator to perhaps the euro turning higher as well, the USD Swiss turning lower, the DXY turning lower as well. So I'm paying close attention to it. Sometimes it tends to lead. Let me see. Question. Interesting note, says Ziggy. I don't know if it means anything. Last night I had a meatless burger. This morning my blood sugar had shot up to 190, much higher than my normal. So I don't think I'll eat another. You know something? I really wouldn't eat any of those manufactured in laboratory stuff, Ziggy. I mean, you can call me like backwards looking or whatever, but in all honesty, I'd rather have proper meat than or have no meat at all. I mean, if you want to be a vegan or a vegetarian, then eat that stuff. That's my 2 cents. Nick says, wasn't it a scam that tried to get government money to save it and walked away with the money? I'm not sure about that, Nick. I remember seeing at some point a documentary at the very beginning of that endeavor, them trying to, a guy actually buying back the DeLorean factory and everything else and inventory. So it was it wasn't showing what happened. It was, further back. He ate what? A no meat burger? Yes, says, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's actually Zig. I know you remember the movie. It's possible it's Soylent Green in those burgers. Do you remember that? Charlton Heston was in it. I know Steve doesn't know the name of the movie. What was the name of the movie?
Charlton Heston, though I do know him very well.
Yeah, Charlton Heston. Anyone know the name of the movie where the population ate Soylent Green? Boy, am I old.
I
okay,
think
someone
I
will
know
figure
which.
it out.
I think I know which.
Planet of the Apes? No.
No. No. But
that was the name of the movie. So Soylent Green.
Oh, you found it. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, it was people they manufacture into a food source. People didn't know it, but yeah.
So we have. Do you
make some pips off that, guys?
Do you have
buy soybeans?
Do you have a guest, by the way, today, Coach?
Yeah, I do. The kitty cat from next door jumped over the fence and came and rubbed against my thigh. I mean,
we have a question about euro pound here. Then the question is if it has put on a bottom. The answer is we don't know.
Like it.
We
Yeah.
don't know yet. Let's see what it does on this resistance area.
I'd like to see one more drive down there, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, my target was 84.80. Let's see.
Yeah, so you got 2 right now, so maybe one more.
We're approaching resistance again, so let's see what happens from here. If we punch through 86.50, yes, it is a very likely scenario that we're going to be seeing a much, you know, a much bigger, at least corrected move, if not a continuation higher. Okay, but it's still quite early. Let's see how we close the week. Any other? If we have any other questions, this is your time to shoot. Otherwise, we'll call it a week. Going once, going twice. So, coach, let's call it a week then.
Okay, everyone. You have a great weekend. Sign up. If you haven't, the weekend's a great time to get familiar in navigating the site, and hope that we've added value to what you're trying to accomplish as a trader here. And with that being said, don't just count your pips or whatever you count. Don't just count your toes. Okay, count your blessings. Look around, they're everywhere. Okay, Monica.
Happy weekend.
Yeah, happy weekend, everybody. Thank you. Enjoy. Don't forget to smell the roses too. Besides doing your homework, go get out there and live. That's why you try and make money. It's not just to be locked up with your screen all the time. Go out there and live. That's my coaching advice. Oh, there, Richard found a link for you, bro. Thank you, Richard. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend.